Patrol, Easy Charlie 341. I have one at gunpoint.
Easy Charlie 341, all units code. Red for Easy Charlie 341. All clear units be anew.
Gunpoint, when an officer has their gun drawn and pointed directly at a subject, usually point-blank range. This tactic is dynamic and reserved for potentially violent individuals or in-progress crimes. The lawful order that comes from cops after is something like, get on the ground, put your hands behind your back. And then, with the assistance of backup, the subject is handcuffed. Now, that's how it's supposed to play out. And most sober, sane individuals comply with the gunpoint command. I mean, said individual is literally looking down the barrel of a gun held by a moderately to extremely nervous cop. But then, there are those select few that ignore the command. And every cop learns this lesson at some point in their career. For me, it came on a graveyard shift during my first 2 months on the job.
Unit Easy Charlie 341, copy a call.
Easy Charlie 341, go.
We have a female reporting her ex-husband is outside of the residence banging on the door threatening to come inside and 420 her. Unknown weapons.
Over 25 years later, this call is still crystal clear in my mind. I was 1 block away from the address when the call came out. Within a minute, I arrived to a mobile home park that was dimly lit and super creepy. This was common in the area I worked at the time. The trailer in question is all the way in the back of a U-shaped trailer park, one way in and one way out. I'm pretty sure the suspect is still there considering how quickly I arrived. I black out, park, and exit my patrol car. Like all trailers in the park, it was a dusty gravel street that was just a mess. As I approached the trailer in question, I could see a visibly shaken female in the window of the double wide motioning with her hand pointing to the ground by the front door. Just then,
Easy Charlie 341. Female is stating the male is hiding under the trailer.
Fortunate for her because he wasn't kicking in the door. Unfortunate for me because the dispatcher broadcast was loud enough for the subject to hear the transmission from my radio, and he knew I was there. So then he decided to horror movie crawl out from under the trailer, like Walking Dead zombie style. Denim jacket? Check. Tweaker pockmarked face? Check. Prison jack? Check. Super dry aggressive mullet? Check. In fact, I remember getting on the radio and using the term aggressive mullet to describe him. And aside from the chuckling I heard from other officers over the radio, I never lived that down. All the hallmarks of this call becoming a nightmare for me. Let me see your hands, I commanded at gunpoint from my department-issued Smith & Wesson 5906. And with a sinister smile, Muscle Mullet Man lifted his hands above his head and began to walk towards me. Slow, evil, and methodical. His cadence had a purpose. And I realized with my unsteady hand and back pedal, my gun meant nothing to him. Clearly, fear was my enemy and not his. This wasn't playing out like the Academy training manual. As I moonwalked backwards step by step, I inserted an ever higher pitched, get on the ground, get on the ground! And to my dismay, Mullet Man ignored them all. By command 7, to any onlookers, I'm sure this was a bit comical. My one saving grace, I could hear sirens from the assisting units pulling into the mobile home park. Backup was close. As the suspect kept his locked-in glare on me, from my periphery, I could see a senior cop that I recognized and trusted pull up and calmly exit his car. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, why is he taking his time? I need help. He gave one command as he drew his baton from his duty belt like a medieval knight drawing his sword to enter a duel. Get on the ground, he smoothly and matter-of-factly stated. The suspect took one additional step towards me and without hesitation, crack! One baton blow to the right leg from the officer, and Mullet Man dropped in a heap to the dusty driveway. In less than 10 seconds, he was cuffed and stuffed and en route to Clark County Detention Center, affectionately what we called CCDC. And now our lessons. Lesson number 1. In all circumstances, there is a right tool. Choose the right tool, and if the first tool isn't the right tool, know how and when to transition to the correct tool. Lesson number 2. Some people aren't afraid to have a gun pointed at them. Lesson number 3. Don't mess with people, from lesson number 2.